Hey World of Warcraft fans, welcome back to a new video on my channel. Today it's about the first class tuning for patch 12.1. Because Blizzard has actually already announced the first changes. It's going to get interesting here, my friends. At least for most people, because Blood DKs probably won't be too happy about this. Blood DKs are the ones who are going to get nerfed pretty hard at first, although it's not that bad yet, but it will definitely be noticeable. Accordingly, we have Blood DK, we have Vengeance Demon Hunter, Resto Druid, Beastmaster Hunter, Mage, Monk, Priest, Shaman, and more. Feel free to stay tuned. If you want, leave a like and especially subscribe if you want to support me. That helps a lot, especially during the summer slump. And with that, let's get started. So as you can see here, Blizzard has already released a bit of tuning. As we already discussed in another video, this won't be the last time. So in the next few weeks, we'll see at least 3 more tunings, maybe even more. So first we have the talent Deep-Seated Strength, which gives you, well, when a certain effect is triggered or consumed, depending on which spec. If you get Scarlet Scourge with Blood, you gain 10 strength for 12 seconds. That's only 6 now, so all in all, yes. You can feel that a bit both offensively and defensively. But what can you do? Then Transfusion, a passive hero talent that you have. With that, the damage from Dancing Rune Weapon will only be increased by 5 instead of 10 in the future. So here Blizzard is mainly reducing the damage a bit. Apparently the Death Knight was too strong. Frost on the other hand is getting a small buff. All abilities deal 9% more damage. Actually, that's more than just a little, so you should definitely notice that. And the new 2-piece T-set bonus has also been adjusted. However, there's a slight nerf here. So the character does more damage overall, but the T-set isn't quite as strong anymore. Next, we have the Havoc Demon Hunter. All abilities deal 14% more damage. That's already a pretty significant, that's a strong thing. Here too, the 4-piece T-set bonus has been weakened quite a bit, so the class isn't as dependent on its T-set. But yeah, in the end, Reap, Cull and Eradicate deal 12% less damage, but that balances itself out. With that 14% increase, all in all it remains a damage buff. Then things like Collapsing Star come to mind, or your I-Beam and so on. All in all it will be a damage increase. Resto Druid, all healing increased by 4%. That's necessary, because Resto Druid was, according to first impressions, already one of the weaker healers. In addition, all damage increased by 20%, also not quite irrelevant, especially in higher keys. We have, for the Hunter Beastmaster, the 4-piece set bonus was simply adjusted, which makes Cobra Shot, you can use it to build up stacks, which then makes your Predator Strikes deal more damage. Or hit for additional damage per stack that was increased. We have the Arcane Mage. Here, all abilities deal 3% more damage. And that's also interesting because the Arcane Mage itself hasn't been a bad class so far. But that's also because the T-set bonus was really strong and now it's been reduced. So especially now when you don't have the set yet, it's a solid boost for you. However, once you have the set, the increase isn't as big as it was before. For example, there was bonus damage for the arcane missiles that was reduced from 20 to 5, and accumulated damage, like for example here, Touch of the Magi, that also allowed you to accumulate bonus damage through the 4-piece set bonus. It's reduced from 5 to 3 per stack. Yes, we have the Mistweaver Monk, so the healer. All healing increased by 8%. And that's interesting because Monk healing didn't look so bad on the PTR. With this buff, yeah, it should look even better. We've also adjusted the 4-piece set bonus. It now activates 33% more often. Discipline Priest. Blizzard says the damage was simply too strong. Accordingly, all damage has been reduced by 30%. Entropic Rift. It now deals 20% more damage. And Atonement now transfers 46% of your damage into healing instead of the previous 32%. That means the healing will remain at about the same level, roughly. Because Atonement transfers more healing, but the damage itself is then lower as a result. There were also a few adjustments for Holy. For example, better mana regeneration through Enlightenment, and we also have some adjustments for Oracle, such as these holy words being buffed a bit. Let's see how that turns out in the end. For Rogue, Assassination, all damage increased by 4%. For Subtlety, damage increased by 6%, and the effectiveness of the tier set bonus has been reduced. It was just too strong before, so we see that's generally a trend. A lot of tier set tuning, apparently those things were stronger for many classes than Blizzard might have anticipated. After that, we have Enhancement Shaman. All damage increased by 5%. Demonology Warlock. Here too, the 2-piece set bonus has been adjusted. The imps explode. Now at 350% effectiveness instead of 250%. And they also deal more damage to secondary targets. So here, yeah, mainly a nice buff in AoE, but since, as far as I know, you always send in these imps anyway, it's also a slight damage buff here. And last but not least, we have the Fury Warrior. All damage increased by 6%. And here as well, the 4-piece set bonus has been adjusted. Bloodthirst does 10% more damage because of this. And when you use your, I think it's called Recklessness, when that's active and you use Bloodthirst, the critical strike chance is increased by 3% up to 6%. It got nerfed a little there. So here again we see damage itself goes up, damage from the tier set goes down. Yeah, that was it. That was the first wave of buffs we got. Next week it's definitely going to be even crazier. Because then Blizzard will have the data from Mythic Plus, from the raid, and so on. So let's wait and see what's coming our way. What do you think? Are you happy with your class? Are you not? Feel free to write it in the comments. See you in the next video. Have a good time and take care.